y'all, welcome to my garden porch here on the Wildwood Wonder homestead. My name is Kara and I wanted to share with you a project that we've done spring 2020 based off of a smaller project that we did last year in 2019, and wanted to share this adventure with you and see if it's something that you would like to do in your own home in a small space. So what we did here is we had a patio, and it enters to the front of our house, and it is raised up so you can see we're actually about mid-length in between the trees behind me. So there's actually a cinder block wall back here and stucco wall that has quite a drop off of it. And so last year we had a garden bed that was an experiment to raise fresh salad. So where we live, we actually live on a 75-acre homestead that we share with family. And in the bottom, we have a huge garden where we do like tomatoes and tons of cucumbers and squash, like all our stuff that we're going to can for the year and pack up and freeze. But it wasn't good for lettuce. And so we wanted something fresh. I wanted something fresh I could go out and pick, and I didn't have to worry about animals getting into it, and I didn't have to worry about it being stomped on. So my tree frog is back there singing. And so it just made sense to try a bed. And we had leftover wood, so we decided, hey, that's what we were going to do. It was very successful. We were able to get about 3 different harvests off of that bed the way that I planned it out, with companion planting and rotational harvest. And then after it got too hot and the lettuce bolted, I transitioned it into a pepper bed, and it worked out great. So hopefully this was something that worked so well that we actually decided to transform our whole patio area into nothing but these elevated raised beds. So I'm just going to go through that and show you what we did and what worked for us.
Dude, you cannot sit here and make noises while I'm making a video. Nobody's going to be able to hear me. I don't care.
Okay, so here I'm going to talk about how we fill the bed and why we do what we do. So, in each one of these, like I said, they're 6 feet long, they're 2 feet wide, they're 10 inches deep. A lot of times they end up being 9 because I don't fill them up all the way, but if I filled them up all the way, they could be 10 inches. And what I've done is I usually rotate some fast growing food with some medium growing and some long. So here in this particular bed, we have radishes, we have lettuce, we have carrots, we have more lettuce, and we have another carrot. I've had people ask me, like, how are you growing carrots if it's only 10 inches long? Well, I don't really like super long and like thick carrots because to me they don't taste as well. And a lot of this is for snacking. Now, I'm hoping to have a lot more left this year to actually can those, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So the plan is fresh eating. So what we do, and then most of our beds, like our main bed that's really going right now because it's the first one we started, we have carrot, lettuce, carrot, lettuce, carrot, lettuce. So it's nothing but lettuce and carrot. So what happens is you plant them all very densely, not the carrots, but the lettuce you're planting densely. You're just pouring as much seed as you can. And then the carrots, I'm spacing out a little bit. And the lettuce starts growing, and it's usually growing faster than the carrots all the time. So what happens is we take one section and we cut all the lettuce in that section. And that's what we eat that night. We do not pull. You're not pulling them out. You're just cutting them. I'm going to do another video on the first bed that we made. Okay, so here's an up close view so you can see where we've already harvested. And then this will be our next cutting. And so this is what I'm talking about. Like there's carrots, lettuce, carrots, lettuce, carrots, lettuce. Now, this right here, my kids helped me plant, and I'm going to say that's probably not a good idea to do one of these beds with your kids helping because in one section I have lettuce and carrots in the same thing, and it has been a pain to go through there and carefully cut around them. So, adults, you may want to do that by yourself, so don't include them. But now I'm going to cut this section. And then it's going to keep going all the way down the bed. And as you see, it's already coming up, guys. Look at that. I mean, how cool is that? And like, why wouldn't you plant like this when it's just going to keep coming. Okay, so by the time we get down here and we go back over here, I mean, it's going to be up. It's going to be more to get. Last year we were able to get 3 rotation harvests out of that bed before it got too hot and it bolted. So this year my beds are in different locations, and I kind of talk about that in the video, where I've tried some in some shade and some different places so that hopefully I can prolong that bolting and I can have another bed going. This year I also want to try to save seeds from the lettuce and the carrots. I've never done that before. I've saved seeds from beans and gourds and that kind of thing with some success. So this year my goal is to try to learn how to save lettuce and carrot seeds so I can keep this going. So I suggested you partner with somebody to make these beds, and the reason is because the materials to make these are extremely heavy. Okay, so they are heavy. It took my husband and I to unload them off the trailer. The hardware store was, helpful in loading the trailer, but once you get it back home, it has to be unloaded. And these 4x4s and these 2x10s at 12 foot long, I mean, they're kind of heavy. So you are going to need someone to help you. And we did. We worked together the whole time. This was a project we didn't let the kids come out in the middle of because of just safety reasons, so they could watch from the house if they wanted to, and then come in between breaks. But you are cutting, so you can cut this with a skill saw, and then you're having to hold, you're having to put things in position while one person screws the decking screws in. So that's something to think about, that if you want this to be possibly in your yard, you're going to need help. So these are heavy duty. So if you look here, it's the 4x4s, and then everything is screwed in with Starbit decking screws. So we tried to get the best screws that they had, because if we were going to go through the effort of spending the money on the material. Now let me talk about that real quick. Yes, these are expensive, but we have had this in our mind, so we knew we wanted to do them, and you can save up. So save your money, start off with one bed, make sure it works for you, and then you can grow from that. We went to our local hardware store. We have been so successful using them because they beat out the big box stores by half most of the time. So we compare prices with Lowe's. We compared prices with Tractor Supply and area things, and our local hardware store will match Tractor Supply and Lowe's. I'm trying to get this skink in the view. And they are under them, and the majority of the time they are actually underpriced compared to Lowe's and Tractor Supply. So we always go to our local guy first. So once we'll talk about expense, and one reason it's more expensive is they are pressure treated. Now I know some of you are going to scream like, why would you do that? Why would you put those chemicals in your food? That's why we have the plastic on there, guys. So the whole point in the plastic was to keep the chemicals from leaching out. Okay, so we don't want chemical. We want these to last. We want them to last for years, but yeah, we don't want chemicals in our food. So we wrap the inside of it in heavy duty industrial grade light black plastic. We used white in the last one, and hopefully this black will do better than the white did, because after a year, it starts chipping and stuff. If you've ever had a greenhouse plastic, you'll understand that. And so after this example right here is we use the black plastic, and then you can see the weed barrier right here, that plastic underneath it, because once we put the black plastic in there, we poked holes in there for underneath the grids here, or underneath the bottom boards. Each one of those has holes poked through them and through the plastic, so the water will drain. But then we didn't want all our soil leaving, and so then we had to put the weed barrier in there. And look, here's my other tree frog. See, this is why I love having stuff on the porch in nature. It's like nature comes to you. And see how he's camouflaging?
Is that not the coolest thing? Like, he is turning, I know you see him moving, he's turning the same color as the boards, and my children get to see that. How cool is that? So that's another reason I wanted to make a better space out here for us and to grow food and to have this wildlife, around us and birds come up and all that good stuff.
Um, so if you happen to do some of this, oh, well, go on the blog. Okay, so my blog is at wildwoodwonder.com, and by the time this video is posted, I'm gonna have a blog post that puts all your cuts on there, your measurements, and step by step how to build a bed and one of the benches that you saw in the video. And then you can just log on there. When it first pops up, you'll see my artwork that is from, inspired by what we do and where I live. And I think you'll see that as soon as you see it, and just look through the menu and you'll see the blog post. So check that out right there. Just if you do build it, like I was saying, contact me on Instagram. Just shoot me a picture and let me see how your garden ended up looking and stuff. So on Instagram, I'm at Wildwood Wonder. Well, thank you, and thank you for watching the video, and hope that y'all have a blessed day.